let's talk about a question that I get asked a lot. And I know I've done a video on this before, but it's become very, very prevalent now since we've had lockdown. I get people who are saying to me, should I take my dog to training? Well, that's a two-sided coin. You've got to look at it this way. There are many people who have now started taking their dogs out on walks because it's been their exercise time and shame, let's take the dog with us. And these dogs have been out of control. And I mean severely out of control. Leaping at the end of the lead, lunging towards other dogs, barking their heads off, being aggressive. I see it on my own walks. And that's why I don't walk in the times when most people are trying to walk. I get there early. But let's go back to the training side. Most of these dogs have never been trained in their life. And now suddenly they're being taken out, being exercised, seeing other dogs, and they're not coping when they're on a lead. Now, I've even had people saying to me, well, we walked in an area and my dog was out of control, leaping, being aggressive and everything, and the people said to me, take your dog off lead, it'll be much better. Yeah, well, yes and no. Two sides again. You let your dog off a lead, who then goes roaring into other dogs, lunging in them, leaping on them, aggressive. So in that situation, taking your dog off lead is the worst thing you can do. You can also take your dog off lead and it'll be a little bit better. Not too bad. But then you can take your dog off the lead and it's terrified out of its mind and it's there, not very happy. Other dogs are coming towards it and it lunges out and says, leave me alone, but I'm terrified. So taking your dog off lead is not necessarily going to be the way to solve the problem. And this is what happened to the one lady. The dog was very aggressive towards the other dogs, and now the dog was off lead. What do you do now? So then they say to me, do I need to train my dog? Well, it's not a bad thing for every dog to have had some form of training. It builds up a bond between you and the dog. It makes the dog listen to you. If you train in a good, positive way, that dog wants to work for you. It's rewarding. It's going to get the praise verbally and with a treat. So training is actually a good thing. And I come back to it again. Every dog should have some form of training, even if it's just the basics that they get through. What people do forget to do is they take their dogs off to puppy training, puppy socialization, and now my puppy is trained. No, it's not. And sadly, I've had a lot of people phoning, but I took my dog to socialization and now look at its behavior. Because you didn't carry on that little bit more as the dog was getting older, getting into feeling a bit more mature, being around other dogs, and it lost out on that. Now suddenly people are all wanting to go outside with their dogs. Dogs are not behaving in the way we would like them to behave. I'm not just saying it because I am a dog trainer that you should take your dogs to training. Even if I wasn't a dog trainer, I would still take my dogs to training. I have in the past for many years because I believe in that bond and I believe in the dogs wanting to do things for you. Not because they are scared of you and have to do it. They're doing it because you're asking them to do it and it is rewarding. Bribery and corruption, it works. But no, I want you to consider if you haven't taken your dogs to training and you've been taking them out walking, maybe you should think about going to a reputable training school and trying to get in to do a little bit of training to get your dogs more obedient when you are out walking or when you're around the home. But again, be very careful. Find a reputable school where you can be helped by the trainer. If you do have a reactive dog, that dog needs to be helped, the handler and the dog. If you have got ordinary dogs that are actually coping fine, that's great. Put them in a class, do some basics with them. It's never too late to do a bit of training with them. Older dogs might take a little bit longer, but it's good to have a little bit of training. And all dogs should be able to be walked on a lead nicely. There's this big thing about, oh, I can't walk my dog on a lead. Shame! If a dog is trained correctly, any dog can walk on a lead nicely. And it's all very well saying take your dog off a lead, but there are times when you need to have that dog on a lead. You can't walk into a vet with your dog off the lead, though some people do it, but it's not right. You can't cross a road properly. You need that dog under a little bit of control. So that is why you're teaching the dog how to walk nicely on a lead. It's not teaching the dogs to be circus dogs or doing flip-flop handstands, as I always get told. Oh, I don't want all that nonsense. But a good, well-trained dog is a nice dog to have around. So with the lockdowns being opened up more, think about taking your dog to some sort of training. Find a good trainer, work with them, and try to get your dog to be more under control. You might not get your dog to be totally social, which is what most people want, but you're not necessarily going to get, but you're going to learn how to control your dog around other dogs. It's a good thing to think about some training.